Yep, we're live.
We're live. All right. Well, you're just joining me at the beginning of this because we're setting this up. I want to give a big special shout out to just another Chris Erickson.
That's me.
Because he just helped me set this whole thing up. Because I've been wanting to kind of have a more produced live for a while, and yeah, he knows what he's doing. So he's playing the music. He was just playing the music because we're trying to set this whole thing up. Button. Yes, it's all good though. Well, you could whatever. Why you are in control of that? But we were just as we got started, I was like, maybe I'll put my thumbnail up. Maybe there is music. They'll just hear our background noise. So
yeah. You're streaming. That's what counts. That's what matters. You're here. You're doing it.
See, and I set up this template, now I'm scooting to the side. Just so everybody knows, live streaming is not that easy unless you're just setting up your phone and talking. But if you actually want to do it a bit more produced, it's a whole thing. So, all right.
It can be.
It can be. Today, I wanted to talk, and I've been wanting to talk for a minute about creative burnout or just burnout in general. Chris has been doing YouTube for 10 years now. Tell us more.
Literally January. Yeah, I got a notification in January saying I had been doing YouTube for 10 years.
Wow.
I mean, at least that was like my first like public YouTube video. I mean, I uploaded some of my high school ones, but like the first video I ever made specifically for YouTube, yeah, it was 10 years ago.
When did you start doing it full time?
Probably in 2018, like kind of right before we met, I would say, because I sold my business that I owned.
I think it was 2018 when we met, right? Yeah, it was.
Yeah, because I sold my business in July of 2018, and I had that for about 5 years, and I was deciding to go full in on content creation for myself and other people, helping people live stream, even building production studios across the country, all that sort of stuff with Loria from Live Stream Pros,
who was awesome, by the way.
Yeah. I left her, I should say, in 2023. Then she moved to San Francisco, actually. And I think she's even a lot more involved with potentially YouTube. I don't know what she's doing exactly these days.
Who knows? But very talented people all around, basically. You've worked with a lot of people who know what they're doing.
Yeah. And a few months later, after I sold the business, that's when I was pretty much just diving into content creation for my own channel. It was like a dump page for personal stuff. But before even that, technically in 2015 is when I was making videos for another YouTube channel for myself. It was like a documentary series, essentially, on toy collecting, which was in conjunction with my business, which it was a buy-sell trade toy store. And that's kind of where I was doing that. That kind of like got shelved. And this channel, my Just Another Chris channel, was formed technically at Vid Summit when we met. I came up with the name there and started to kind of post it. But it wasn't until 2020 when it really took shape for what it is now. I found my groove, found what I wanted to do. It was just sharing a hobby, and people liked it, and I ran with it.
And now you do instant photography. And we'll get into that in a minute. But mostly, so I felt inspired to talk to Chris, one, because he's kind of in the same wheelhouse of all of this, but he does it full time, and that's overwhelming. But I feel like recently, you may have been noticing that I've been posting random YouTube videos. I feel like I've been clawing and climbing my way out of creative burnout that I've been stuck in for a couple of years now. And my experience is I was doing freelance and working full-time, going to school, all that stuff. And I focused primarily on wedding videos, and it was mostly just due to demand. It wasn't totally like, I'm going to do wedding videos and this is a thing. But it burnt me out a lot because I would work, and some of my work was in the creative field, some of it wasn't. And then my weekend, I would be editing videos of other people's lives, which I really enjoy the final product, but it was wearing me down that I wasn't able to like live my own life. I was just watching others every weekend. So, and a bunch of other stuff happened, and I really fell into just like a deep dark hole of burnout, like the worst it's ever been. And I didn't even want to touch video. It would trigger me to just open Adobe Premiere. So that's just like a little background on this topic and why we're talking about it and why I'm talking about it. And generally the first thing I want to cover is recognizing that you may be experiencing burnout because you may not know. But Chris, do you have anything that like you acknowledge in yourself that you might be feeling a little burnt out?
Oh yeah.
I'm throwing this at you on the spot.
Yeah, pretty much. I love it. No, I love it. Being in the hot seat. No, yeah, burnout, man. It's real. It's a thing. I've experienced that so many times over the years of the YouTube career. But what I've found to kind of like keep me going is, and you can probably relate to this. I have ADHD. It's pretty much every YouTuber has it. I feel like every time I meet someone that's a content creator, they're like, they have ADHD. And the thing is, I don't really like repetition too much, like doing the same thing over and over and over and over again. And I found with YouTube, though, it is the same thing over and over and over and over again. However, the content's different. It's just the same procedures. And right. I've just been able to incorporate like some of my hobbies and some of the things that I really enjoy doing, like genuinely. It's not being forced. And it helps with the burnout. Because when I work with like clients and things, it's just like, ugh. Like, even though I love the people that I work with, there's a handful of other content creators I edit videos for and stuff. But it's just like, that's where I feel the more burnout. If it's something that I'm having to do, you know,
when it turns
not
into
something that's
work. That's actually on my list. I kind of just did like a bullet list. So I was thinking about what I was going to, sorry, this mic is falling apart right now.
I see that.
But yeah, so I was just, one of the things I put on here was your hobby has turned into a job and you just don't have that spark for it anymore. And that happened to me. Yeah. So I could see, and that's when you're working with clients, which you want to do. That's how you make money usually. Yeah. But it kind of just, it becomes really repetitive. So that's, it's tough. And I feel like when you just have no motivation to edit or dread it, that's a sign that you might be burnt out. So those are just my takes on that. So
yeah, and even then, like for my channel itself, like I still feel that from time to time, especially when I want to make something like I'm really excited about, and it doesn't do really well, and then I have to make something that I don't really care about, just so I get those views and get that. You know, the algorithm basically is getting fed and the channel's growing and I get the subscribers and the money comes in and all that sort of stuff. And I'm having to like grind just to like do that part, just to do like one video I'm actually really enjoying. So I had to find that balance. They're still there, but luckily it's not enough to where I'm having to like crash out for like a month or two at a time and then disappear and come back, which I know people that do that.
Yeah. And that's, I kind of want to talk about the method that I'm trying to follow myself, even though it's hard. But there are a few things that I kind of want to talk about with practical ways to just reignite your creative spark, I guess. And this could be photographers, videographers, writers, artists. Just, I feel like we all, if you experience burnout, it just means you're human. So, but I feel like when you do the creative work, it's just hard when you lose that spark. But my first thing that I had to do was literally just stop. And that's hard, but you get to the point, and I hope maybe you are acknowledging it before you get to this point. But I was so burnt out and drained that you literally just have to stop and you have to say no, and you can't take on any more work. And I do realize that that's not always possible for everybody if this is your full-time job. For me, it was a side thing. Yeah. So while I was in my mess of burnout, like I had to communicate with my clients that I was making videos for that I was just kind of slowly, really in a slow phase of editing because of things that were going on in my life. And luckily the people that I was talking to understood what was going on. But just communicate with your working with clients if you need to just like slow down the pace that you're doing. But take time to rest and don't feel guilty about it, because that's my problem as well. But rest and rot. If you have to rot for a weekend, a day, I wouldn't say a full week, because then we're on depression mode, which that happens as well, which you should acknowledge, and there's support out there. But I just think that many of us feel guilty for resting. What do you think about that? I'm just talking, so I'm trying to make sure I include you.
No, you couldn't be more accurate. Like, if I have trouble relaxing, so if I'm sitting not doing anything, I feel like, I need to be doing something. Like, especially when it gets more towards the evenings, because I always feel like more energetic and like ready to go, because like there's nobody texting me or calling or whatever. There's less noise going on. I can actually just then focus. But like, I've been trying to like cut the time where it's like 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, I'm done working, I'm gonna go relax somehow. Which is usually just sits on the couch and watch TV or something and kind of like
and think about the work,
decompress. But exactly, like plan tomorrow's work. But I do have trouble like locking in, like just relax, stop thinking about work and things, and just take a break. It's tough.
Yeah, it's tough. But I feel like you have to give yourself grace if you're experiencing this burnout, because that's the only thing that fixes it, at least to start for me, is if you're in that burnout, you have to hit the reset button. It's like if your phone's not working well, what do? You give it a power cycle. You have to have a power cycle of yourself. And my method when I'm not in like complete burnout, like this is what I did yesterday, because I was thinking about doing the stream yesterday, and I was feeling burnt out, and I turned on some true crime stuff, and I sat there for like 6 hours, and it was okay because I feel good today. So that's what works for me. So even if it's just one day.
Like, I think 1 day a week minimum. Even if you did like a full weekend, Saturday, Sunday, you time, if you have it, take it. It's very important. For me, I guess, which is when COVID hit, I was right before that. I was feeling a little bit of burnout because I was grinding away making YouTube videos for, clients and things like that. I really wasn't focusing too much on my own stuff at that point.
Yeah.
And I just wanted a break from like the constant staring at a screen, staring at, camera settings, living life through, the lens or whatever some people might say. And I wanted a break. And so what I found was instant photography. So I went out, I was still going out and, getting fresh air, which was nice to step away from the screen, go for a walk, take an instant camera. And then I took a picture, and this is cool. I was like experiencing life, right? Because I was still in the moment, and I wasn't worrying about no camera settings, because with the instant camera, you just kind of point it, shoot it, and you're done, and move on. No editing, no nothing. And I found that so therapeutic. It was so therapeutic. And then I had the bright idea. I'm like, oh, well, this is kind of expensive, so maybe I should start documenting this. And then I turned it into work. And I had to find my own balance with that. But once I started doing that, my channel started taking off, which was really cool. So then I started focusing on that balance between the both. And even now, I still find it so relaxing, even though I'm working. But the work is living life. Like I'm outside, like walking around, traveling, going to different places. And I'm not like pulling out my camera, worrying about ND filters and camera settings, frame rates, all that sort of stuff. And I'm like, I'm just going to use my phone. I don't care. Use my phone to record my videos, taking pictures, hanging out with friends, laughing, having a good time. Very relaxing. It like almost energizes myself, because I know, okay, I have to go home and edit the YouTube video itself back to work.
The editing for me is really what I was having issues with, because I'm just like, I have to lock myself in here, and I'm talking about video more and you can't multitask when you're doing video.
No.
You can't listen to a podcast. You can't watch a show. When you're doing photos, which I do have some photos that I need to edit today, but I know that I can listen to music. I could watch a show on this side, and it makes it a little bit easier. But video, you're just locked in, and you have to be locked in for like a full weekend with wedding videos I'm talking about, but any video.
Right.
So you also turned me on to instant photography. And do you have that video? Is that available to us right now? I kind of want to play this, because he gave me a Barbie cam, a Polaroid cam, and I had an epiphany the day that he did this challenge because I realized like how much I do actually like creating. I just have to kind of reframe the way I'm doing it. So you may need to turn your music down. But let me get this.
Yeah, I just overlaid it for now because I didn't know if you wanted to like commentary.
No, this is good. This is good. You could. I
can play the sound.
Yeah, you can put it up. I'll be quiet.
You'll be quiet. Okay, let me go back.
You're gonna use it today.
Where'd you get this?
We can still talk.
You can still talk.
Okay, so here's film.
Oh, I get it. This is in Seattle.
Yes, and see how you do.
Yeah.
Anything you want.
In July.
So
I'm nervous now. This is so cool. How much is this worth? I had no idea.
Like what he was 60 doing. To $80 probably.
This is cool. Shot right there.
You can get the space now.
That's another
other way. And close it. And now you're ready to take your picture.
I only have 8 pictures.
Yes.
Wow, I gotta do a good job in that case.
I believe in you.
I'm gonna take one of
The Strat?
the Space Needle. I keep calling it the Strat.
They've been calling it the Stratosphere the whole time.
It's still the Strat. This is fun, actually.
It's still the Strat.
Woo! Your first one. And you don't shake it like a Polaroid picture.
Wait, why? I like your editing. You did.
No. It's a misconception. It's an urban legend.
I think we're all like so in a rush all the time.
Yeah.
And we have like the fact that I only have 8 is really making me think about what I want to do. And so I like the patience.
Yeah.
I like it's not instant gratification. Ice cream. My ADHD just like opened up.
I'm the same way.
But I don't know. I feel like I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I feel like we need to slow down and wait for the pictures to develop sometimes.
Do you know how much film is for Polaroid?
No. Is it expensive? I've heard
It's about $20.
For how much?
For 8 photos.
Yeah.
I think $17
have
a
to
piece.
think about what you're doing with these.
Yeah.
How do you feel my framing is on that?
You nailed it.
I did get the tree in there. I kind of wish I could have either gotten more of the tree or more or less of the tree.
Yeah, but it's centered. You know how hard it is to get a photo from this particular camera? It's centered?
No. I mean, I did it. It seemed pretty easy to me.
It's hard.
I don't think it's actually the magician guy. I need to take a picture of him.
Yeah, he was funny.
This took me a minute because I was like, what's the perfect moment?
Yeah.
I know there's no zoom. It is. It's the commitment of pulling that trigger.
He's cute. That's Kenzie and Chad.
No, that's okay.
I want one of him, but I keep like missing the moments.
It was so cool to watch Caitlin's thought process to get the pictures. I think I've lost sight of a little bit of what she was doing. Over the last few years, I've been focusing too much on the technical side of it and not paying attention to the moments. So watching Caitlin stick around waiting for the right opportunity, that was so cool.
There you go.
Tried it. I don't know. I got nervous.
Good job.
I felt like he was going to do something cool, but when he did his little hand walk, I was like, that could be fun.
That's fun.
Where'd my friends go?
This is a prime example of kind of what I'm talking about. I would have skipped over this shot and I never would have tried this. Because in my head, I knew it's the wrong lighting source. And that's because the sun was in the wrong position. It was facing the camera, made it super warm. But you know what? It really captures the summer feel.
We'll see how that was. I don't know. That's something I didn't realize how hard lighting was with
I think this is my favorite
Polaroid.
photo that she took.
Just gotta try it.
Yeah,
That's the best part.
it can be tough.
I don't even know if I was looking at it because it happened so fast.
Sometimes that's how it
I might have panicked.
Sometimes that's
This is
just
great.
how
You did good.
Just get like as tight as you can.
It's like all the way.
I don't know if we're in, but here we go. 1, 2, 3. I've done this with a lot of friends now. It's kind of fun. See who makes it, who doesn't. See how that turned out. I don't know. That was the real challenge. I look like I'm like, please work.
We're down to 2 shots.
The pressure. All right, I got 1 left after this.
You got your dick pic.
I like it. I
You got it.
That's it. That was number 8.
You shot your
I
photos.
did the 8, but this was my second to last.
Nice dick pic. I love it.
Yeah, we got friendship, and we fit everybody in.
I think that was super fun. I didn't think it was going to happen. Strawberry shortcake with the sun, because I didn't know.
That was a tasty treat.
A learning one.
It looks like summer.
Yeah, it looked like it.
That was the first selfie. First pick, Stratus Space Needle.
Stratus Space Needle. I love
This
it.
was the magician. It looks like a...
It did pretty good.
I didn't know the right moment, but I think we did okay. These are my friends.
Yeah, that's them right there.
Yeah. Well, look how cute. And this was the final photo that I wasn't sure, because I wanted to get water, but then we came across this moment that I thought was really fun, and it's people dancing, and I really like this picture now.
Oh yeah.
Finding the positives. And it was dancing and fun.
Yeah. So what was some of your like strategy for shooting these?
Just find the moments.
Yeah.
Which I do that anyways. Like, I'm a wedding videographer, so I'm always looking for moments. But you really have to slow down and think really hard. I don't know if this is a moment. It just made me laugh. And these are just like, yeah, we went to Seattle and did these things. That was tasty. Friendship. I haven't seen you in whatever, 8, 7, however many years.
Yeah.
That's tourist. And this guy had a story behind him.
Yeah.
I liked him. And those are just my friends who like each other.
That's a great lineup.
Slow down and look at things slow and think hard and capture the moments. I don't know.
Well,
Tell a story. Create the story in a picture.
exactly.
That's what this is. I'll look back on these and be like, I remember this trip, and I don't need 10,000 pictures to look at it. I need these 8. Yeah, I'm actually kind of want to buy a car right now.
Well,
But I don't. You have to tell me which one.
Well,
I would like one.
Before we wrap up, here is a pack of film
Okay.
for your brand new camera.
Wait, no, you're not really giving this to me.
It's funny, Kenzie in the background.
You're not, though.
Yeah.
Welcome to the hobby of instant photography.
This is like, I feel like this is like a collectible piece. It's
Yeah,
fun.
but now it's yours.
No.
I'm cutting this because my
I feel
cat.
like it's fake.
It's not fake.
It's in.
I really am giving it to her. It's yours.
Oh.
And the extra pack to continue shooting. Because you haven't gotten the sign yet of the...
I'll go take that, but I want to save it. I'm going to so many other places this weekend.
Well,
so
there
I
you
just
go.
gotta, like, I've got 8 pictures for the whole weekend. This
There
is
you go.
really nice.
There you go.
It's
Yeah.
pink.
Yeah, I know. I figured it'd be right
No, I
up
don't
your
have
alley.
to buy one. You've taught me a new skill.
Now plug what your new thing you got going on right now.
Well, my socials are Caitlin Creative, but I have a new podcast called Dating at Her Age, and we talk about the problems
Still
and
have a
struggles of
podcast.
dating at different ages. I'm 29 and my co-host is
Still do
57,
it.
and we all have
For the time being, we don't know.
single as fun.
For the-
You don't have
yeah.
to be single to listen to it. We talk about a lot of stuff like
I don't know if you want to continue that, but
No, it's
up
just
to
me.
you.
I can plug myself here. Get yourself back on. But yeah, that's so. I
Where
wanted
is it?
to.
Why am I
I'll
not
let
coming
you
in?
situate. My cat Thomas was just on the
Oh,
chair.
that's
and
why.
I feel like he's gonna be back, which is all good. I love him. But anyways, so I wanted to play that video because that experience I feel like was something that has helped me get out of burnout. And it's just like anytime I go take pictures with my friend Gleb, who's actually commenting. He taught me how to do this. Hold on. Send. And then it's up.
Look at that.
Yeah. Photo versus video. Just a moment ago, we were talking
Look at
about
that.
how photo editing is a bit harder, or no, easier than video because you
Yes.
can kind of multitask. But thanks, Gleb, for watching. If you're still on here, let me know if you're still on. But I forgot to take it off. There we go. Okay. But that was a moment, an experience that helped kind of recharge me. And I really loved how much taking Polaroids helped me just like slow down and remember my why. And that was another thing I wanted to know is you have to go remember your why. And however you get there, it takes time. It's taken me years, honestly, and I'm just starting to feel it again with making content for myself and enjoying it and
That's
not
great.
getting triggered by opening Premiere. But when you take Polaroids, there is no editing. You're there in the moment, which is why I think photography was invented. You're taking a picture of the moment and then you've got the picture and there's nothing more you need to do to manipulate it. It's just there.
Yeah.
And I love that.
Let's go
Even
share.
though the film is a little expensive. When I go out to things, I do like to take my Polaroid because it's just, I only have 8 pictures, so I don't worry about taking that many. I just worry about taking the right ones. So it helped me
Yeah.
recharge for sure.
Good. That was part of the goal. Was multiple reasons, but one of them is outside of that is like more people need to be doing it. It's a
Yeah.
little more expensive, but you you cherish the moments more, and you actually care more about the picture itself than you would if you took it with your phone, because you took a picture of that Space Needle or Strat, whatever you want to call it, and that's the most tourist thing anyone does is take a picture of that, right? Not that there's anything wrong with that, but that's what it is. But I don't know. I have a bunch of pictures of the Space Needle on my phone that I've never looked at after I took the picture and posted onto like Instagram stories, right? But yeah, a Polaroid photo, you care more about it. It's going to go on your fridge. You're going to see it more and remember like you went on that trip, you know? So it's like, it just has more impact, I think.
Yeah. And we take so many pictures on our phone. This is something that I'm realizing I'm doing a little social media detox right now. Cause my goal was to find that spark for creativity again, but consume less is kind of the main goal of it. But I realize when I am like out anywhere, or I see a sunset, or I have a coffee in front of me, I often would just take a picture of it and put it on my story. And now I don't have any apps to do that, so I'm just like, do I really want to take a picture of that? Like, what's the point? No one's going to see it. So it's reframed like what I'm actually taking pictures for, and like why I'm actually taking pictures for other people and not myself, because I don't know, like, what is the point? Do I need validation? But it's made me think, and I find myself, I'm still taking pictures, but I just I'm doing it for me. So
that's good. Something's flashing back there. Oh, is your cat flicking?
Yeah, he's trying to get out the window. He's not going outside though. But yeah, so if you're in the creative field, or if you're not, get a Polaroid and use that instead of taking everything with your phone. It's a nice challenge. Yeah. I still think you can take things with your phone, but you just...
Oh, yeah.
We take thousands of pictures and we don't even realize it. So...
Yeah, just go to your phone to die.
Yeah.
And with, I mean, even depending on how many photos you take with, you know, instant photography in general, not just like Polaroid. I've got boxes full of photos, but I still try to incorporate like albums into like my content online and sharing them that way and stuff. And I don't know, it's more connected with the photos themselves because they were there with you as well. Like, you took it at that location, it was there, and it's tangible, it's physical, it's, you know, in your hands, it exists. And something about that is just so therapeutic. And if you are wanting to get involved into like getting a Polaroid camera, I actually send people, typically, I didn't start you out this way, mostly just because I had the perfect camera I wanted to give you, and it happened to be Polaroid. But I typically give people Instax mini cameras. They're so much cheaper to like operate because the film's actually a lot cheaper. You get 20 photos for $15, but they're really small. They're not like the full size of Polaroid.
The square, the vertical ones, kind of
like the rectangle. Okay. Yeah, like the vertical ones. They're much. They're like 2x3.
My friend has. I don't know for sure, but yeah. I mean, the film's not cheap, but I do like the full size Polaroid film. So
yeah. For sure. I'm the same way. But I like to send people there when it just kind of gets started, because I get it. It's still the digital age. You're spending money on your photos. Some people aren't really liking that. But if you want to get involved, start there. It's a lot cheaper. This cameras are pretty easy to use. And if you like it, maybe, work your way up to some of the other cameras.
Yeah.
But it's very... it's been able to recharge my creativity ever since I've gotten into it. And it's led me to so many cool new people. Like, I've made so many friends like over the years from it. And I'm not stuck behind a desk staring at a computer screen. I'm like out there.
Yeah.
And I'm not staring at a screen.
Things though all the time, but it helps you get outside.
Yeah.
And that's one thing. Can we turn down the music just for a minute? I'm thinking ahead of like cutting clips, and I might not want music on some of them. So I'm just thinking out loud right now.
I can turn it off. Want to turn it off?
Whatever. It's whatever. I'm just thinking of, if I make clips. What was I about to say? Oh, one thing, just with going outside, because I feel like if you're in the phase of the rot phase, and you're kind of stuck there in that executive dysfunction, and you don't even want to think about creating anything, even with Polaroid, I just suggest going on a walk, going outside and just looking at things, because then that just reignites like why you liked photography to begin with, because there's just things that you like to take pictures of. And then I feel like for me, it was like a slow working of like, okay, now I'm going to like allow myself to take a picture on my phone, but there was no pressure to do anything with it or take it with the Polaroid or go out with my friends and take pictures. Luckily, I have friends who I tend to hang out with, Gleb, and we go take pictures. But just the point of going outside and looking at the world around you can also just recharge. So, yeah.
Sure. Now,
That's all I was going to say on that.
Well, have you, since you've been doing your detox from social media, like I think you touched on it a little bit, but maybe you talk about it a little bit more. How's that effect been? Has it been positive, recharged?
It's very positive. Yeah, for recharging, this is a point I wanted to make in this video about kind of when you're trying to step back into creativity after you've kind of acknowledged burnout and taken that break, and now you're like, okay, I need to just merge in, but I need to do it on my terms and naturally. And literally me getting off social media was for many reasons, and I'm not going to say I'm like fully off of it, but I do not have anything on my apps. I have checked Facebook a few times on my computer, and it's been to like check that things get shared to it, or I'll share something that I've been doing because I'm creating YouTube videos. But that's all I've been doing. But the positive impact is that I can just think more because I think that doing a social media detox or taking some time away from all of that can just simplify your mind, because I do feel like we're fed so much content, and I'm speaking to content creators kind of right now, but we're fed so much content and there's so much to compare ourselves to, which also brings so many different ideas of things we want to do. You kind of just get overwhelmed and you're like, oh, I want to do this, 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 I want to make this video, I want to be like this person, I want to do that. And then also when you are making videos, you're obsessing over the comments and the likes and stuff like that. And then when you don't have that in front of you every day, all day, you just can think for yourself. And you're like, this is my why, this is what I'm doing, and this is what I'm knowledgeable about, this is what I'm focusing on. And so that's where I'm at right now. And I didn't realize, I knew social media was loud and that's why I was wanting to do it, but I didn't realize what it was going to do for me as like a creative person. Because I'm just remembering like that I like YouTube and I like the longer form, and I don't want to always be watching short, fast-paced content. Like there's a place for it, it's beneficial, but I like watching interviews like this or just someone talking and teaching me something. So the things that I'm focusing on is I'm kind of documenting the social media detox journey, and then I'm doing some quote-unquote tech social media news. And then I want to experiment with gaming, but I think I might make a separate channel for that and maybe test it out as soon as tomorrow if I am up for it. But I don't want to start myself with 2 channels and have to like focus on both of them. But if I do the gaming one, I think I'll just do it. So, but anyways, it opens up your mind and allows you to think critically and slow down. That's my response.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. For me, I think you touched a lot on some of the stuff I kind of struggled with a while ago, but now it's kind of interesting because I don't find myself scrolling too much on social media because I'm focusing on creating it.
That's good. If you have the self-control of that.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I do spend some time on social media, but it's usually like, laying in bed, right before bed, I'll scroll for a little bit, like half an hour or something like that. It's kind of like to help me fall asleep or whatever. And then maybe in the mornings for a little bit. But after that, I kind of have a schedule. Like, okay, I've got this time to create something, do things, work on client work or whatever. And so I'm not really on there too much other than to upload things, maybe respond to comments or respond to story replies, things like that, like on my own things. But I also obviously go on and consume mostly my friends' stuff, try to be supportive of them, watch their videos, help their view counts go up and leave comments for the algorithm, that type of thing. But originally, when I was first really kind of like taking this stuff seriously, I found myself like watching everything I possibly could, like consuming so much stuff. to where I'd cause myself to not want to get out there and create stuff because it needed to be a certain way. It needed to look a certain way. It needed to be perfect or whatever. And there's a lot that you can learn from watching other people for sure. But I've come to the conclusion, if you watch too much of it, you're just holding yourself back, and you'll just never start because you'll be either too afraid to start, or you'll just start comparing yourself to other people and think you're not worthy. Yeah, you overwhelm yourself and you cause your own burnout even though you've never done anything.
Yeah.
So the moment I stopped watching Peter McKinnon, Matty Apoya, like all those like YouTubers and stuff, like it was like a weight was off my shoulders. I was way more relaxed. I was having fun. I wasn't too worried about too much of the other thing. So that's my wisdom.
And I feel like right now I'm in the fun phase, and I hope it stays that way. But I'm trying to just do it realistically. And instead of doing, short content and consuming it all day, the extra time I'm using to just make a little bit of a longer video that's a little more thought out. And I'm trying to just do it at least 1 to 2 times a week. And that's all the pressure I'm putting on myself. And maybe a live stream is thrown in there. I don't know. But I'm trying to have realistic expectations, and I think that's important to note. And if you are wanting to start creating videos, or you wanted to get back into it for yourself like me, I would just say I'd like your advice of, watch a few people who can explain kind of good methods to do it and keep it simple, but just start making stuff. Because that's what I'm doing today. Like, I know how to live stream, but this took a minute to set up, and we were just like... I was going to do a whole thing just by myself, like going through my bullets. And then we're like, it's 4:30. You're on with me. Let's just go figure it out. So, but just do it. And it takes practice. And it's fun when you do get engagement, but you do have to realize you might not get it at first. But it can be encouraging when you get like one viewer and one comment. Like, Gleb, thanks for commenting.
Some people focus a lot on the views. I mean, don't get me wrong. I definitely... am one of those people, and I have to remind myself all the time. It's like, oh, I only got 50 views, 100 views, 1,000 views, whatever, right? It's never going to be what you want it to be, so you know. Even if you get 100,000 views, you're like, oh, why didn't it go to 500,000? Why didn't it get 1 million? So it's never going to go that way. But if you really think about it, you dial this back. If you got 50 views, you try to put 50 people in a room, that's going to be one crowded room. That's a lot of people that are actually watching your videos or whatnot. And it's something I have to remind myself all the time.
Well, and I think I mentioned this in one of the previous YouTube videos I made, that I noticed that I get my validation online a lot because I'm alone most of the time. But it's just because of the work I'm in. It's video, photo, I work in radio. It's like we're presenting our work every single day, and you get validation from the response usually the time. Whoa, what words did I just say? Most of the time. But it's because I have feedback in my ears, and sometimes I'm like slightly delayed, so I don't know what I'm saying. But I just think that I have relied on digital validation. And it's, did somebody like my wedding video? Did someone like my last TikTok? And I have been checking my views on YouTube, but I know that views are really hard to get in the early stages, so I am really making these. I'm making them for myself, but I am trying to provide value to people at the same time. So, because I think this topic, for one, is very relatable, and I've been against hustle culture for like a few years. I can't use my words very well. My
It's okay.
Yeah, it's okay.
I'm the same way.
It is. But yeah, I hate hustle culture. That is a hard thing to say today.
It is. Hustle culture.
Anyways, I'm not going to try again. But I just,
okay.
Don't be like everybody else also. You have your own ideas. You have your own why. You just have to remember what it is and not be so focused on all of the social media, because it is so overwhelming.
It is. And you can lose yourself. And people are here to watch you, not what they've already seen somewhere else from somebody else.
Yeah.
So find your own, style and stuff like that. I know we're talking about burnout, but you can burn yourself out trying to achieve what others have achieved, or doing things like that. There's definitely benefit to pay attention to like what's going on, like seeing what people are interested in watching and reacting to and what's growing, like trends and things like that. There's definitely a benefit, but just throw your own spin on it, because you will kill yourself and burn out trying to like do what like these bigger people are doing, and they only got there because they probably went to the same thing you did. It's just a slow progression as you go on. But viewers are after genuineness, uniqueness. And if they're watching you, that means they like you. For now, anyway. That could change. And so just do your own thing.
Yeah, and I guess I wanted to ask you, because you are in a niche with instant photography.
Yeah.
You haven't been in that forever, as you mentioned, but how do you not get burnt out with that same niche? Because do you get bored? Because you mentioned that a little bit, but
yeah. So here's the thing. It's when I got so when 2020 COVID hit, we got locked down. I always was interested in instant photography. I always wanted one when I was a kid. But my parents were like, it's too expensive because you have to buy film and stuff like that. And so I never got one. And so it wasn't until years and years later, I was doing some content around buy-sell trading, like how to do that. Because I did it for a living. So I'll make content around that, teach people how to do that. So I ended up picking up a Polaroid camera to like flip, but I never brought myself to sell it because I was like kind of secretly wanting it. And it just kind of sat there for like a year or so. And then COVID went in, we got locked down. I kind of just picked up and kind of started shooting it. I'm like, wow, this is getting really expensive. I just dropped $50 on photos. You know what I'm saying? So like really expensive. So I started making content. Well, that was kind of a long about way to answer your question, but I genuinely enjoy, and especially then enjoyed, doing and sharing what I'm doing. So like what I'm going out and I'm shooting photos, I'm actually doing that when I'm not shooting videos. I'm actually out there on my own by myself with no camera on me doing it. So I'm literally sharing my hobby. So it is a super niche, like you said. I probably would have much larger growth on my channel if I was doing something more like tech or whatever that's popular or modern times. But
I don't know about that because it's unique though. So I don't know. That's why I'm asking the question too. Yeah. Because I'm figuring that out for myself.
Yeah. But it hasn't caused me to get bored, because that was what you were saying, because I actually genuinely enjoy it. It's the same thing, but it's also different every single time. It's still the same like Polaroid photo that I'm taking, but it's something of whatever. And I really enjoy, I want to start incorporating more into my videos. And it goes back to kind of my roots of why I started YouTube in the first place. I liked hearing and telling stories. And I'm taking pictures of like old buildings or old like burnt out neon signs or old cars or something that's different. And I've had the pleasure of like hearing some of the stories with the photos that I'm taking, because as I'm taking a photo of this, somebody walks up and tells me the history of it, and I'm like, that's really cool. I want to start incorporating that more. But it's also what keeps me going and wanting to shoot it, because I just like hearing the history of stuff and learning about the people behind it.
Yeah.
Sometimes, like I literally, for a quick example, I used to have a studio. I don't anymore, sadly, but I did briefly. And it was next to a freeway, and there was an accident somewhere along the line on the freeway, and traffic was backed up like crazy. So I took a back route home, and I happened to stumble upon this house that this guy had built to look like some like 1950s like gas station, and there was neon signs everywhere, and it was all built to look, it was incredible. And I just stopped, took a picture. He saw me, he brought me in and gave me a tour of the place. It was crazy. And so I got to hear the story of something that I never would have gotten to experience before. And plus, made a new friend just by doing instant photography, regardless. And then I didn't have a camera. I wasn't filming any of it. So it's just never know what you're going to hear and see, I guess, is the answer to your question. Yeah. It's just kind of exciting. It's a thrill to hunt in a way. Keeps it going.
I get that. That's kind of how my full-time job is. It's a new news day every day. So it definitely keeps me on my toes. It's exhausting. So taking pictures and stuff is like a nice change of pace. But yeah, I agree with all of that. And sometimes it's just the hardest step is getting outside to go do that. And then when you're out there, you're like, oh yeah, this is fun and this is refreshing. One other thing that I wanted to mention, because earlier we were talking about one of my tips was just to take a break, stop. And I mentioned that if you have clients, you probably can't do that if it's your income. But there's something that I've been doing that's been helping me just approach it a little bit better. And maybe everyone's different with how much workload they have and how much they have to get done so quick on deadline. I have some time to get these pictures done, but there's a lot because it's a wedding and there's a video that I have to edit after it and it's overwhelming. But take it in small chunks and do that as quickly as you need to, however big the chunk is. But I feel like what happens to me a lot of the time is I will think about the project I have to work on and I'm in my burnout and it seems like the biggest mountain to climb and it's really not. I mean, you think of thousands of wedding pictures to cull, that's a big mountain to climb. But if you think of 20, you can do that in not even an hour probably. So, and Absolutely. Same thing with video. You think of all these 2 days worth of footage that you have to filter through and it's a mountain, but can you just go through the prep today, like the beginning of the day, like this first 1/3 of the day? And so that helps me a lot. And a lot of the time I will end up just doing more, but to get myself to do it, I just think, okay, go do 20 pictures, go do that and turn on music. And then you're good and you can feel accomplished that day. And you don't have to feel bad about yourself after, because I was getting really down on myself because I was being too slow of an editor, but it's a lot of work and working full time on top of that was hard. So I'm trying to find the balance. So. But I wanted to share that tip. I think it's important if you are in the position where you have clients, you have to get the work done. You cannot just like bail on them, but you can do it more in a healthy way, I would say. So
Yeah. No, for sure. Absolutely.
Yeah. So, well, I think that we covered most of what I was going to talk about. We're just talking about overcoming burnout because I feel like I'm climbing it out today. I want to say if you are enjoying this video, make sure to subscribe to my channel because I'm new. Trying to build it up. Subscribe to Chris, Just Another Chris, everywhere. He also has a podcast, Just Another Podcast. And just a couple of things that we went over today. Recognizing the signs of burnout is just if you're dreading doing your task, if you're burnt out, if you're not enjoying it, if your hobbies become a job and you hate it, you might be burnt out. You might be a human, is what that means. And my first tip is to rest and rot. Go outside and refine your why, and use your friends and the community that you may have that are creative people. And overall, just get off social media, maybe give that a try because it's beneficial. I don't know. I have a few videos about my experience so far, but I technically only have 1 week left of what my goal was. I may allow myself back on Snapchat next week. And if I get TikTok, Instagram on my phone, it's only going to be for like 30 minutes a day. So that's where I'm at.
I can tell you right now, though, you're not missing anything.
I know, but I will say, we're kind of pivoting to a different topic, but it was hard for me the first few days. My cat is yelling. Can you hear him? You may not be able to hear him. But he's yelling. Bit. So he wants my attention. It's time for dinner. But maybe I can get... Anyways, I'll save that. I have a Thomas cam I want to use.
Nice.
But it was really hard for me the first few days because I was like, I don't know what any of my friends are doing. I don't know who's alive, who's not. Because I was so used to seeing like Snapchats in the morning. I don't even know if you're on Snapchat, but Snapchat or Instagram stories. Like I would just see some sort of life and knowing what was going on. And not having that, I was just like... I didn't care when I was at work and stuff because I wasn't on there anyways, but I would come home and I'd be like, I don't know what to do. But it's helping my connections be more thoughtful because I'm actually texting people directly now at times. And I guess I wasn't really doing that before. So, but yeah, that's just a note on social media.
Yeah.
So.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, hey, thanks for having me on.
Yeah.
I really appreciate it. Are you going to show Thomas?
I'm trying to. But I have this weird webcam, and I got to see if it's going to work. So we're... Thomas!
The Tommy cam.
I don't even know where he's at. Well, let me see if I can switch. my webcam. I'm trying to pull this over. There he is, but it
There you
looks
go.
terrible. He doesn't stay in one spot. This
He's a
camera would
mover.
work. The goal of this camera was for him to be like right there, and I could set it up as a Thomas
Oh.
cam. Oh, there he is now.
If he's,
You can see him a little better. Thomas,
there he is.
are you okay?
He's like, who
not
are you
okay.
talking to? There's nobody there.
You okay, Tom? Okay. I'll stop streaming. Gosh, he needs dinner.
Feed me.
All right. Well, thanks everybody for watching. If you watched, there may be 0 viewers, but I know Gleb was on here, so thanks, Gleb. And
Hey, always think of the replay.
yeah, we'll see you next time.
Bye.